If we turn our backs and spit in his face, is God still gonna bless the USA?
Clayton Christensen was known for his theory of disruptive technology, which is an unexpected product or service that disrupts an existing market and helps create a new category of customers. Examples of this technology include the internet, desktop publishing, CDs, DVDs, personal computers, steamships, telephones, and automobiles. Disruptive technologies are often initially resisted but eventually accepted due to their benefits and efficiencies. God allows disruptive moments that we often question or resist because they're painful or they're unanticipated, misunderstood, and frequently not optional. Yet in hindsight, they are usually regarded as a blessing for the good that results. Then we say, I understand. Greetings, Patriots. I'm Perry Green. This is God in America. America has had numerous of what we will call disruptive holidays on the national calendar. Several are so special that we take a day off from work with pay. Some are religious, such as Christmas and Thanksgiving. Others are national, such as Independence Day, which we celebrate on July 4th. We observe other special days without taking off work by recognizing the anniversary of the event they honor. These are days like Flag Day and Constitution Day. In each case, we look at the purpose of the reminder. When I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, I frequented a Mexican restaurant. I became friends with some of the servers and practiced my Spanish with them. One year on Cinco de Mayo, I asked them about the purpose of their holiday. They told me it was for fiestas or parties. I pressed and asked why they partied. They didn't know. By the way, Cinco de Mayo commemorates Mexico's victory over the French at the Battle of Puebla on May the 5th, 1862, Cinco de Mayo. If you've ever watched the Man on the Street interviews, you've likely noticed that many people they interview struggle to answer simple questions about American history. They can't name from whom we won our independence or who won the Civil War, how many states there are in the Union, and much more. And by the way, don't forget Barack Obama couldn't tell us how many states we had. Well, nefarious individuals have intentionally dumbed down American children so that they do not recognize our history and purpose. Knowing the why behind a holiday holds more meaning than just a day off. Christmas is more than just gift giving. It reminds us of the birth of Christ. However, we can forget the purpose of the day and, more importantly, the purpose of his coming. Benjamin Franklin observed, "How many observe Christ's birthday? How few his precepts. Oh, 'tis easier to keep holidays than commandments." On July the 2nd, 1776, Henry Lee presented his resolution to Congress to break ties with Great Britain. John Adams thought we would perpetually celebrate its anniversary, and he wrote Abigail Adams on July the 3rd, 1776, expressing the importance of the decision and the determination to be free. He said it ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore. You will think me transported with enthusiasm, but I am not. I'm well aware of the toil and blood and treasure that it will cost us to maintain this declaration and support and defend these states. Yet through all the gloom, I can see the rays of ravishing light and glory. I can see that the end is more than worth all the means, and that posterity will triumph in that day's transaction, even although we should rue it, which I trust in God we shall not. In 1798, Elias Boudinot delivered a famous speech in which he paralleled the release of Israel from Egyptian bondage and America's liberty from Great Britain, drawing on the account of Exodus 13. Notice how he intertwined the two events. The deliverance of the children of Israel from a state of bondage to an unreasonable tyrant was perpetuated by the Paschal or Passover lamb, and enjoining it on their posterity as an annual feast forever, with a remembrance this day in which you came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Let us then, my friends and fellow citizens, unite all our endeavors this day to remember with reverential gratitude to our supreme benefactor, all the wonderful things he has done for us in our miraculous deliverance from a second Egypt, another house of bondage. And that thou should show thy son in that day, saying, this day is kept as a day of joy and gladness because of the great things the Lord has done for us when we were delivered from the threatening power of an invading foe. And it shall be a sign unto thee upon thine hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand thou hast been delivered from thine enemies. Thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year forever. In our church settings, we can go through the motions of specific worship actions, such as the Lord's Supper. We may partake without fully understanding its background and purpose. When we recognize its connection to the Hebrews' escape from bondage and the representation of Jesus' body and blood in releasing us from sin's captivity, we can appreciate and participate on a deeper level. Awareness breeds appreciation. The same is true for our national celebrations. Our ancestors connected America to God's providential activity through their dependence on him from the time of the American Revolution onward. Independence Day, July 4, 1776, marks the birth of our nation under God. We count our country's age from that date. If our nation stands, we will celebrate our 250th year in 2026. Well, thanks for being with us today. As we close, let's keep the light of remembering why we celebrate burning.